You're listening to Fox City's Murder and Mayhem, your bi-weekly dose of true crime history in a small rural community of Wisconsin.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fox City's Murder and Mayhem. I'm Eric.
I'm Gavin.
And we are back again. And
Yep.
Gavin has no notes for this episode.
I have no notes.
I'm really curious where this is going to head. So what are we talking about?
Well, first I'm going to crack my beverage because my throat is dry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's good. The beverage is not that good, but
For everybody's information, the beverage that Gavin is drinking does not look very tasty.
it's not, but they send them to me every month anyway.
Why do they send them to you every
Don't
month?
know, but they show up, so I drink them.
Okay.
But this is a different kind of Fox City's Murder and Mayhem episode because there's a couple that I'm working on, but I'm gonna push them off to next time. I got one coming up that's a Hortonville story that I think people are gonna love. I could have done it, but I'm waiting to hear back from Hortonville to see if maybe there's a little extra something I can get out of that. There is an episode that is technically a Kakana story that you pitched, but it isn't really a Kakana story as it turns out. The Kakana part's just a very small part of it. So that'll be coming up soon. That one's required a lot of work. And I've had to read things in Dutch, which I don't read so good. But so that's coming. And a follow-up, not follow-up, but an update. We did a Dale episode a while back.
Yep.
And a couple things about that. One, I did request from the state records from the state fire marshal about the explosion. Those records were destroyed, unfortunately.
Okay.
They did get back to me. Those records were destroyed. So nothing really, I don't know what that would have told us much anyway. Like the story is pretty clear, but they don't exist. But also, strangely enough, the Dale episode, which I'd kind of fought, and I was like, I don't know how we build a story around this. And then I think we did. We built a story around it really well, actually. There's now since been two stories that are going to come out of it. One that I found and one that you've been like let in on now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm not going to say more about that, but for what I thought was just like a sort of a dead end little, 5-minute story, it's directed us to other things. So.
Yeah. Some pretty cool things too, I would say. So
yeah, I think so. But this episode, I want to talk about something, and this is kind of like how we do our Patreon episodes, but I'm doing it for Fox Cities, so I'm going to just do it on the Fox Cities feed, because Patreon, we don't have a Patreon for the Fox Cities, so just to keep things clean and separate. 2 weekends ago, or last weekend, I don't know. Maybe it was, I can't keep track of time. Recently.
I'm like sitting here thinking, are you trying to get me to respond to this?
I don't
Because I
know.
have no idea what he's talking about right now.
My concept of time is not good. But
Within the last 14 days.
it was in November, I'll say that. This is previous to that, but I was asked to host a Midwest murder museum.
Okay.
Which was really cool.
And it was a good success, right?
It was a big success,
Yeah.
I think. So, I was asked, there's a bookstore in Appleton called Tardigrade's Bookshelf. It's not really much of a bookstore. The bookstore part of it is pretty small. There's also a banquet hall. There's a coffee shop area. There's a bar area. The bookshelf part of the name is like not even a quarter of what the place is. But anyway.
And if anybody's curious about it, this is in the old VFW.
This is in the old VFW. Kind
right
of
downtown.
Yeah,
so.
right in the middle of Appleton. And they asked if I wanted to put that together. I was like, heck yeah. And so we came up with a few stories that we thought were good. Ultimately decided on 3. And the 3 that we went with were Wenzel Cabot, which is these are all stories we've done on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Was Wenzel Cabot, which is he comes in to a farm, kills the farmer, takes over the farm, claims the farmer ran away with a woman in Green Bay.
Okay, and this was the one, I think this is the one that I found out about, asked you about, and you were like, this is the next episode we're doing, right?
Possibly.
I think so.
Possibly.
Okay.
We did Porter Ross, which I know is one of your favorites.
Yep.
And we did the Appleton Butcher story. But what was great about this is, so upstairs there was sort of a Halloween theme thing going on. I don't really know because I wasn't upstairs, but I know part of it was like a dark carnival thing. With like some sideshow entertainment. I was told at one point there was a guy who came out and he like stapled cards all over his body. I didn't see this because I wasn't upstairs, but there was weird stuff going on upstairs. And then in the basement of this place is
rough.
Huge.
And it's rough.
It's rough, but it's huge. Like it's a giant maze of a place. And they turned it into kind of a haunted house, but not really. Like it's not like people didn't jump out at you or anything. And then there were the 3 stations along the way with like little rooms, and in the little rooms they got live actors to do the scenes. So I would bring people through, bring groups of 6 through, and we did this it was over 3 hours straight. It was 1 bathroom break, but otherwise it was 3 hours straight.
Wow.
And we bring people through, we stop, I tell the story, 10, 15 minutes, or hopefully less, but people, they know at this point that I kind of ramble a bit. but I tell the story, and then the live actors would like put on the scene. They didn't talk, but they put on the scene. So like you stop. We had Porter Ross, and in the scene it was made up as a jail cell. So he's in there. He's got the black and white striped jail outfit. His wife is in there as a ghost, and so like he's talking to her ghost and this and that while I'm talking about him killing her, and then having visions of her as a ghost, and then eating the bed springs and all that. So tell the story with the live actors, and then we go to the next thing, and it's the Appleton Butcher, and it's an elderly woman chopping up body parts and putting them into bags. And so like this was really cool because like the stories I've told enough times where like I didn't have notes, I could just tell the stories. Mm-hmm. But we've never done them with like an immersive element of horror. And I think it went over really well. Like people had nothing but nice things to say about it after they went through. They thought it was great. And from the sounds of it, we're going to do it again next year and probably expand it slightly, because this was sort of like this was a Friday or a Saturday. I think it was a Saturday. And when I went in earlier that week to kind of do a walkthrough, nothing was even set up yet. And somehow within like 3 days, they had completely transformed and like fully stage decorated the thing. It was amazing how quickly they were able to take this from a basement and turn it into like a theatrical experience. But
this sounds absolutely incredible.
It was great.
And I think that I want all of the listeners to know I'm very confident that the only reason why Gavin is doing this episode is to make me jealous that I didn't get to see this.
No, that's not it at all.
Because now I got to make sure that I go back to it next year, because I didn't realize, like, you had mentioned that you were just doing this. I didn't know you were going to base it off of, like, Fox Cities Murder and Mayhem stories, which makes it so much cooler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they told me I could do whatever I wanted. They wanted it local, but I could do whatever I wanted. The only request they said is they didn't want a Jeffrey Dahmer story, which, you know, I don't do anyway.
And now I would, like, when somebody tells me local, I would have not thought of Jeffrey Dahmer anyways. Right. I would have thought of that as not being local.
No, I agree. But this, when I sat down with them the first time, like, keep in mind, they are not listeners to the podcast. Maybe they are now. I don't know, but they were not at the time. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I pitched the ideas, like, that was the first time they had heard them. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't when they thought, hey, we could do a Midwest Murder Museum. They didn't necessarily know that we had, like, a whole ton of
like
local
150
stories.
Episodes of local murders.
Yeah. So I think they were thinking more like it could be anywhere in Wisconsin. I think it's more what they were thinking originally. Mm. But no, it was great. No, this episode's not to feel like I'm sorry you weren't there. No. Sometimes on the other podcast, we've got the Milwaukee Mafia podcast, and then we've got the Patreon. Sometimes on the Patreon, some of the Patreons are what I call the behind the scenes episode, where we talk about events that happened or writing stuff. And we don't really do that with the Fox Cities podcast. But generally, that's because there aren't
that many many behind the scenes things.
Like, I'm not going to fill a whole episode with a story about doing a book signing unless something really awesome happened at that book signing, because they're not that exciting. It's like I sit at a table for 2 or 3 hours and sign books. Like, it's not exciting. But this was a really cool event, and it was directly connected to this podcast, and it was in a whole new way of presenting that. It's probably got new listeners off of it. So, I mean,
and I hope they continue to do that, because that sounds like a really awesome thing to do for the community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think they will. No, they've been very receptive. So, the people who run the Tardigrades bookshelf, which that's a rough name, by the way.
yeah, it is.
Like, I don't dislike the name. This is not me knocking the name. I think the name is fine, but
it's a tough name to say.
It's a name that I think is going to be hard for people to remember. So there's that. But the people there are great. So, as I understand it, it's basically 3 owners, and I could be wrong, but as I understand it, one of them, their name is Catherine, and Catherine I've known for years. Like, I don't know her super well, but I've known her for years. She used to be the head of a library in the Fox Cities, so I know her through that, which is how I kind of got involved with it. Then there's her sister, Liz, who was sort of like the person overseeing the museum thing. Liz is fantastic. I've kind of jokingly referred to her as my new best friend because I just really enjoy, like, she's fun to do stuff with. So that's cool. And then there's a third person, Chelsea, who I just met at the event. I did not know in advance. And she played the Appleton Butcher during the event.
Oh, how cool.
She was really cool. But anyway, like, they've been looking for all kinds of things to do. They've twice brought up to me now about doing live podcasts there, which since we're talking about it, they're thinking February.
I'm available, man.
Okay. So yeah, it's been great. It's, you know, it's a very strange venue, but it works well because they're open to all kinds of ideas. They're like, it's like, oh, we've got a weird, freaky sideshow. We've got a murder museum. They've got spicy book club night, which is they pick out like a romance novel. And apparently, I'm told the people who go, mostly ladies who go, they love the spicy part. So, just like wild range of things going on there. It's a different kind of venue.
And I love it because I've always thought forever, you know, like people always talk about like bookstores are dead, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't see it that way. I see that like what we know as a bookstore today is dead. Like a place where you go and buy books, that's dead. But like an experience, something where they're having events about books, getting you excited about books, that is like a thriving business, you know?
Yeah, I think so too.
And I mean, it sounds like they're putting a venue space, a coffee house, a bookstore all in one place. How can that not work? Because most of them work by themselves.
And there's a massive parking lot, so parking is not an issue.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Now, it's, again, listeners know this. Like, my day job is I work at a library. Mm-hmm. And libraries as libraries are not dead. You know, I'll hear that on occasion from people who don't go to libraries. They'll be like, what's a library for? Who's reading books anymore? They do. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like, our circulation numbers are doing just fine. There's a lot of books coming and going every day. But, same concept there. The library of today is not the library of 30 years ago. It is more about a community space. It is more about programming, getting events together and having people, you know, stop on down. And maybe they're not readers. A lot of people don't read at all, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But give them a reason to come down and, you know, hang out with other community members. So I definitely think that's something that is worth embracing. So, yes, you're 100% right. Like a traditional bookstore, it's hard to do. Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that Barnes & Noble still exists in the way that it currently does, because I don't know what they're offering people. But, yeah, when you give people any number of reasons to come back, that's a business that can work. Right,
exactly. And in integrating those all those things together, it's like you're going to have the people that are just going to come for the coffee, but then now you have books, and that's going to be, and that's the other thing that's always confused me is that why isn't every coffee house a bookstore? Because that just seems to work together for me. And in my opinion, like, just by throwing books up and selling books in a bookstore, or in a coffee house, it gives the coffee house a much better vibe. Then not that because coffee houses have pretty good vibes as they are.
Sure.
But I think you throw a shelf of books up there, it just adds a little bit of additional ambiance to it. It can,
yeah. I mean, and you'll see that for that in the Fox Cities area, I know like Shalates, which is like on the Neenah-Menasha border. I think they're on the Neenah side, but they're on the Neenah-Menasha border, and they've got books in every, I don't know if people are familiar with Shalates, but it's a weird coffee shop in that it's clearly like used to be a house or something, because there's all kinds of little rooms. But every room has bookshelves in it, and the books are used books that you can buy.
Yeah.
So,
and where is this coffee house?
I would say it's on Commercial, but it might not be Commercial because the streets changed. It could be Taco. But I think
it's in Menasha.
I think it's still Commercial at that point.
Okay.
But it's on that stretch where Neenah turns into Menasha, or Menasha turns into Neenah if you're going the other way.
I should check this bookstore out. I never knew it existed. So
yeah.
Is it a nice place? So you recommend it?
I recommend it. The owner's very nice. Their specialty is baked oatmeal, if you like baked oatmeal.
So, very cool. So now, you said you're talking about expansion on this thing.
Yes.
Like how big do you think... What are you thinking is going to come next year? Are they going to double the rooms or that?
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of space. That basement is huge. So if they wanted to turn it from 3 to 5, they could easily do it.
Interesting.
I don't know exactly what they have in mind, because the problem with turning it from 3 to 5 is that would also make the tours take longer. So I don't know exactly what the logistics of that are, but as far as the space goes, there's no shortage of space in that basement.
And do you think for next year would you do a whole new slew of stories?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I mean, I feel that there's going to be repeat customers. And for those repeat customers, I don't want to shortchange them. I got to mix it up. You know, maybe in a couple years, you know, rotate some of the old ones back in, but I want a whole new experience for the repeats.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, I love it. I love the concept of it. And I mean, this is something you should pitch to the library too, and the library could do something like that because I think that would be fun.
Well, like the live actor type
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. Like I don't know, does the library do like a haunted type thing for?
We just did the Haunted Trail.
Okay.
We did Thousand, which that was awesome. I can say this. I'm like, is this inside information? No, it's not inside information because we have to publish these numbers anyway. We had 457 people come through
On the Haunted Trail.
On the Haunted Trail.
Now, do you know how many people roughly came through at the bookstore thing?
At the bookstore. Oh,
Those tours, because you said you were doing them for 3 hours straight.
3 hours straight. They were groups of 6 to 8 people. I don't know. I mean, maybe 100.
Okay.
I mean, they were smaller groups, so.
But that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, 100 people went out just to walk through and hear stories about murders, which is just cool.
Well, like with the Haunted Trail, you let somebody in. Once they get far enough down the trail, you can let the next group in. The problem with the basement thing is I have to do the 3 stops, let them out, and then run back to the start to do the 3 stops again. If there was a way that we had other people doing what I was doing, and then I could be at stop 3, and then there's somebody else is doing stop 1.
Right, yeah.
We could get a lot more people through. But it was kind of reliant on me having the stories.
Interesting. Well, and that's all just Gavin teaching somebody else the story.
Yeah, I could easily write a script, but that was just the way it was set up.
That's interesting. So that is a super, super cool thing. And once again, I just love all the fun stuff you get involved in.
Yeah.
With this, it almost makes me want to become an author so I could get involved in cool shit like that.
It is fun. Like most of the time, it's just whatever. Life is boring. But you do get asked to do the most random stuff.
Yeah, and it's just cool stuff, and it's like, man, that would be fun to do. So, super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else, or
nope? Like I said, I wanted to use this episode as an excuse to talk about how Fox Cities Murder and Mayhem has gone from being just a book or a podcast and entered the real world.
Yeah, and from the sounds of it, maybe February we're gonna have another live podcast.
I think it's pretty likely.
So
the biggest problem is, and I apologize again, I don't think they listen to this, but the biggest problem is like they're still kind of getting their footing. So sometimes like you email them and they're not like super great at responding. So they're getting it together and how their organization works. But I don't think there's any doubt that the live podcast will happen. It's just
a matter of when it's going to happen is going to be the thing, and when they're going to probably be ready for it as well.
Yeah, I mean their events are top notch. They're a little scattered, but when it comes down to it, they're 100% committed. So
yeah, and that's cool. I'm gonna have to check out their website just to see like what kind of stuff they have coming up, and I would recommend everybody else do that.
Yeah,
too,
they got cool things. They've got regular science lecturers.
Oh, cool!
They get actual scientists to come in. They either just did or are about to do. By the time people hear this, it'll already have happened. But they had somebody come in and talk about formaldehyde and like what,
really?
Yeah, and like the different uses of formaldehyde. They've got somebody coming in and talking about pain receptors in the brain and how the brain processes pain.
Oh, this is super cool.
Yeah, like they had somebody from NASA a while back. Like they get real scientists in to talk about stuff. So
that is really, really wild.
Yeah.
This is like something that I can't believe we have in Appleton now.
Yeah.
So thank God that
it's almost impossible to try to explain what this place is in like one sentence because it's just the most random stuff.
Just go there and find out for yourself.
Yeah.
So, all right, we want to thank everybody for their continued support of this podcast. We will be back on the normal storyline next week, but I think this was a fun little detour to take. And we'll have one of those exciting stories coming up that we kind of alluded to. I think we talked about
It'll be Hortonville next.
It will be the Hortonville story next.
Whether I hear back from them or not, Hortonville's next.
So, and Gavin's super excited about this episode.
I really am.
So we're gonna have to see what plays out here.
I really am. It's a story. It's one of those stories where when you hear it, you're kind of surprised you hadn't heard it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very interested. So all right. With that, we'll wrap this episode up, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with the episode for Hortonville. We want to thank everybody for their continued support, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Fox City's Murder and Mayhem. Join us in 2 weeks for another exciting episode of Murder and Mayhem.